What bias have you had to manage as a woman in your life and career and within the defence and veteran sector?
There's so few of us out there. When you sit around a table, there is a lot of men leading a lot of organisations, and you can be a lone voice sometimes, and it can be very lonely. But I think we overcome it in the end. Again, we sacrifice for our common good in our motto, and I think that's very important.
It's been an interesting journey over the last many years. You've basically got a sector, both at the ADF level but also at the ex-service community, that is male-dominated. So when you put women into that space, there can be some bias. I've always made sure that women are involved in the decisions, certainly at a government level. I've also needed to push women forward so that they become active within the space. We'll have less bias if we have more women in those spaces.
The stereotype narrative that defence partners follow the defence member from post to post and just in the background, holding down the home front. Yes, we are holding down the home front, but we are also educated, capable and driven individuals who have goals and aspirations and careers. We are so much more than the person waving goodbye to a defence member or counting down the days for that defence member to come home.
The area I worked in was very male dominated, and we're always looked at differently, that we weren't strong enough or capable of doing the same workload. There was always a pressure to show that we were just as capable as that they were. We've done the same courses, we've trained the same. So there were those struggles. I've also had my struggles in the veteran sector, having been told that I was too young, I was a female, and the types of injuries that I had were a lot for my age and my gender. There is no gender when you're in uniform. So when things are happening, it doesn't matter if you're female or male, it just happens.
I think we were talking earlier about that. It's a really good quote from Annabelle Crabb. It's one of my favourite ones, and it's come up a lot recently. And it's, we expect women to work like they don't have children and to raise children as if they don't work. And that's very much this unconscious bias that I think people are very happy for us to have children, very accepting, as long as it doesn't impact our work. And this is invisible children, invisible motherhood. So you can be a mother, but it can't impact. And therefore, it also works on the flip side that you are expected to be a mum and to be there as well, but you're also expected to mother like you don't have a career and a work and obligations as well. So I think each side is accepting of the other as long as it doesn't interact, but life is not like that. Life is dynamic and fluid, and there is so much integration of the two that it's impossible to simultaneously, separately. If it's a relationship where there's one person you're serving and the other person is that support in that supportive role, they often, when you leave the forces, you can feel quite isolated. And it's like, well, now what for me too? I've also given up a lot during your career. So I think when we talk about transition, and there's a lot of support and work gone into transitioning the veteran into a post-defence military life. I think it's important to also support the spouse, because for them, it's also a complete change to them, and they're losing their identity as being the spouse of a serving defence force member. I think that if we can support them in that way, that might, improve outcomes later on.